have your attention here in the media center. We, at this time, welcome Denny Hamlin, driver of the number 11 FedEx Ground Toyota. Denny currently sits 11th in points with 1 win so far this season. Denny, just talk a little bit about being at a road course at this point in the season and your strategy leading up to the chase in Richmond.
Well, we got 5, 6 races to kind of we got 5, 6 races to kind of get back to trying to be competitive and consistent on during the full course of a race, and we've obviously shown a lot of speed over the last few weeks, but just not the ability to finish as well as what we run. So we got to continue to work on that to first of all be a part of the chase, and then if we are to just be competitive in there.
Okay, we'll open it up for questions here in the media center. Please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. Please state your name and affiliation. Questions? We'll start up here with Claire.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Last week, your crew chief was really upset after the race and said that it wasn't the pit crew, somebody on the team, I think it might relate to the lug nuts or whatever. Well, what's the status of things this week? He was pretty much saying there was going to be a Monday morning meeting, and I wonder if everything is sort of back flowing with your team now at such a key time.
Well, we got to finish first, and it's just for 4 or 5 years I've been saying the same thing. It's so frustrating from my standpoint that I don't feel like we truly get the finishes that we deserve, and to deserve them you must every piece of the puzzle, and everyone has to do their job and do it well, and we've just struggled to do that consistently. So that's something we've got to work on, and obviously everyone in our team knows that.
What's the attitude right now?
Well, our core, the core group of guys, the ones that travel every week, everything's good. We have a great relationship. There's no animosity amongst us. Everyone knows they're doing their best, but it's just frustrating at times when mistakes just cost us week in, week out.
Questions for Denny? David?
David Carville, NASCAR.com. Denny, the point gap between 10th and 11th now is like 23. With 5 races to go, how big is that in reality? How big is a 23-point advantage right now, 5 to go?
It can be overcome. There's a mix of some different racetracks that you could very well separate things. I don't think that me, the 14 or the 88, 16, 33, none of us are going to have a flawless 5 races. I think that it's going to be the battle over who can be the most consistent. It's going to be the biggest key, or who can sneak in and get a win. So it's going to be tough to see between the 5 of us or so how this all plays out. Going into Richmond, I wouldn't want to be more than 5 points behind. Even that, I don't want to be behind to begin with, but you feel like you can possibly beat guys on any given week by 3, 4, 5 spots, but that's tough to do.
Okay, we'll take a question up here from Reed.
Reed Spencer with Sporting News. As far as Junior and Tony and Clint go, you've got an advantage because you've got the 1 win. They don't have any so far. 2 wins probably locks you in for sure. So over the next 5 races, if it comes down to a point where a strategic call gives you a good shot to win a race, do you take the risk?
I think it's going to depend on the situation. It's so tough to say. Every caution flag that comes out that's kind of in your window, but it's not, is a different situation. So, like I said, for us, we feel like we can get in there based off of performance. If performance only, you take how fast is our car this weekend, that should get us in. But we've got so many variables right now that you got to factor in that it's so unpredictable. So it's hard for me to say whether we're willing to take that risk to get the second win versus trying to get into the top 10. We don't know. I think it's going to depend honestly on what kind of day our competitors are having also.
Additional questions? Get a mic back there to Brian.
Brian Nelson, Motor Racing Network. Next week in Michigan, Danny, you go back as the guy who won the race in June. How much different is Michigan in August than in June? And, I got to believe you view that race as an opportunity to get that second victory, huh?
We do. And at this point, if we'd won last week, then I'd be real optimistic. But it's so unpredictable. Some of our best racetracks we've had the biggest amount of issues at, and so it's so tough to say what's going to be our strong suit and nowadays. But Michigan has been a good track. We haven't finished, I don't think, any worse than second over the last 3 races. So we need to go there. We need to perform well. The track changes quite a bit, obviously, in those few months. I think it just gets a little bit warmer, and other than that, it loses a smaller amount of grip. But the setups we've run over the last few years have been pretty similar from the first race to the second.
What about the new pit road there? I guess that's phase 1 of their overhaul of the track. What's on your mind as you head to Michigan with that new pit road?
I didn't even know they changed it. Really? What'd they do? It won't change that much for us. Unless they really change the configuration and things like that, it won't change really what we do. It's just really, you have to run a certain speed, and one thing we'll let you do is get into the boxes a little bit more aggressive if there's newer pavement than what there was in the past.
Okay, next question from Chuck.
Chuck Howard, NASCAR Media Group. Denny, over here to your left. As Brian mentioned, you got Michigan, a track that's been really good to you in the past. Also, Bristol Motor Speedway is on the horizon as well, a track you haven't won at, but I think you've got 5 top 10s there. Do you think you're close to breaking through there and finding victory lane at Bristol?
We hope so. We always seem to have a strong car there, and just really don't really get good finishes. Other than here lately we had a wreck, I think, in the spring. But it's just one of those tracks where we look to go there and run well. It's a short track. Obviously, we feel like we should run well. So Kyle is so good at that track. I'll probably be leaning quite a bit on him to try to gain some more information, because really he's just kind of got that track down pretty well.
Any other questions for Denny? Okay, up here for Jim.
Jim Shaw, Observer. Denny, a lot of people have been talking about, especially fans, that road course racing lately looks a little bit like Bristol used to be. I just wondered, do you think that's more because of just double file restarts, or is it also because maybe just road course racing is people have just gotten a little bit more crazy?
Well, I think they've just I think people have a different mindset. Honestly, I think that people think that they can run over guys on road courses and not have, repercussions like they do on the ovals. I think on the ovals, when it happens, you got one coming. Where on a road course, people just think, it's okay to run over the guy in front of me. He'll get over it. But it's. I agree. I think I saw something with Jeff Burton not too long ago, commenting on the road courses, and it's true. Guys do not show each other very much courtesy on these tracks, and but it's just part of racing. You're going out there and you're going to be, after the last road course race at Sonoma, I told them, build me a tank, build me something I can hit guys and slam into guys, and I can be hit without being, my car falling apart. So you just know that it's part of racing nowadays.
Okay, Claire, you had a follow-up?
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Where's the line, Denny, between staying the course and getting upset, pounding on a desk, changing things? Because, it's such a fine line. You would expect that you would be like, all right, listen, I'm contending for a championship here, was last year. But if you change too much or you panic people or get too upset, the team falls apart. Where's that line?
It's an invisible line which you can't see. It is tough because here lately I've been just so frustrated week in, week out over not finishing as well as I run because of a bad pit stop or something, lug nuts fall off or something breaking, all that stuff. It's just so frustrating at times. But it's that's what makes this a team sport. I mean, you're going to win together. And my team's won me as many races as they've lost me. So and I've done the same to them. So it's just one of those things where it's frustrating at times that, even the guys that had a career day, their best day, changing tires or carrying tires, or had a career day driving. It doesn't matter, because if not everyone pulls their weight, then you don't get the finish that it takes to win. And so, for me, that's what's been frustrating. But you got to just know that eventually those things will hopefully get fixed and come around, and you'll find yourself back where you belong, up towards the top.
Final questions for Denny? Okay, Denny, thank you for your time. Good luck this weekend. Just an update on our availability. We will let you know once we find out